Well, before we get into the next questions, I mean the rest of the interview, I do want to give this announcement. To all the pink tickets in the room, scroll up to the top, click Thinking Out Loud, and join the house. Not only so you could get notifications for conversations like this, but also conversations that we will have in the future. We greatly appreciate that. Join the house and become a part of this community. This is a family type team. Let's say that team house, however you want to place that. Shouts out to everybody who's been in the chat asking questions and those that have been confirming information that has been given on stage. We greatly appreciate that. To everyone in the room, look down at the bottom of your screen. The second icon from the left, which is a square with an arrow on it or a compass symbol, could you click that and then click invite people and ping your followers in until you see the red bar up top? We definitely appreciate that social currency. We are now in the middle of a Urban Echo segment with Coopnomics, Consumer Cooperative. We are speaking with the CEO and founder of that company, Tanen Andrews. Also, I ask that no one asks any questions on stage. Leave that to the moderators, please. We have dropped chat prompts in the chat to join the Telegram for any questions that you all may have. We will get those questions in queue and they will be asked in order of in the order of them being received. My apologies, y'all. Uh, but yeah, we are having a conversation of equity over reparations with Co-op Anonymous. Um, what I wanted to start with next, I used to work for a company that was under the nonprofit of the American Heart Association. And I always thought that nonprofits could not generate funds as far as having and owning businesses. But while working for them as a medical coder, I soon to come into the knowledge that they'd had several multi-million dollar companies that were under their umbrella. And that was kind of shocking to me due to the fact of you always see commercials or you always see donation box and drives being done stating, hey, donate to this initiative. We need your help, and then to be a part of one of their major companies under that umbrella. And I'm like, man, y'all making millions and billions. What help do y'all need? But that was me not knowing that there's different levels to, C corps, S corps, nonprofits, series LLCs, things of that nature, in regards to generating funds and outsourcing work and things of that nature. Would you be able to speak on how that can be beneficial as far as having a nonprofit and also being able to create entities under that nonprofit?
Yeah, that's what they call separation. That's in the law, that when you create an entity at the Secretary of State, you're creating separate a person, a separate identity. That's really when I mention a purpose and identity. So it's you're classifying these entities by how you are establishing their existence through the Secretary of State when a charter is issued to you. You see what I mean? So whether it's a nonprofit, whether it's a for-profit or whatever and stuff like that, the entity, it doesn't matter who owns it or whatever, right? They are different entities. They function differently. They don't commingle that and see, and that's some of the mentality of our people. We too busy commingling stuff together and not us and making sure that we keep the separation there. That is a power play, right? Same way with these churches. These churches are nonprofits, right? They should be having multi-million dollar. Some of them have multi-million dollar businesses up under them. You don't know that, right? You don't know what's going on. You're looking at the church and thinking the church is getting all these donations for these people and stuff like that, but you don't know that they have multi-million dollars businesses running. They own real estate and they do all of this and stuff like that. You don't think you're going to depend on the congregation to keep the doors and the lights open? No, maybe for the smaller type of religious establishments like that, maybe so, right? You got to think about look at all the other nonprofits. You're looking at the Salvation Army and all of these, though, all nonprofits, right? But you see what I'm saying? But they got other businesses. That's the reason why, the CEO can make they can make those type of salaries and stuff like that. You see, See, we I think what we do is we get too caught up in our emotions, right? And we don't use our logic. We always like to play the blame game. Oh, it's this person's fault. Get in their emotions and they're blaming everybody, for this, for that, for this, and that, and whatnot, and they're not understanding. Well, wait a minute, don't get mad at someone else because they've put the fucking work in, right? Normally, the people who get mad and get in their emotions, they've never actually put the work in. So you got to think about what they're doing, and they're also organizing. Because like I was giving you the example about the corporation owning the LLC, and you just gave me that example about that nonprofit owning that. See, these are those relationships I'm talking about. You separating up the business. You're separating up different divisions, right? Because that nonprofit is probably doing something for the community, right? And also those entities that are making them millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars, right? That cash flow is going in the form of donations to that nonprofit, right? Which is a write-off for those entities. And then the nonprofit is tax-free, and then they can do the public good or for whatever program that they're providing in that organization because they have two different types of purposes.
Can I ask a question real
Yeah,
fast?
yeah, go ahead.
Uh so what is the way? What would be the structure if you wanted to have all these entities? Say if you wanted to have the non for profit, you wanted to have the corporation, you wanted to have the LLCs, all this at one time.
You have to join the co-op. You got to join the co-op.
That's a bet. That's a bet.
Cuz that's what we build right now. This ain't theory. We don't do theory. We build it. We're making acquisitions all across the world right now, structuring these things, getting our ecosystem. We're building the technology to build and put together our technology and our systems and whatnot to make this a reality. You see what I mean? Because no one else is trying to do this. Because everybody's trying to go get money. Everybody is stuck on individualism, right? Y'all, our nation is neglected. Ain't nobody fighting for us, man. Nobody's fighting for us. So
No,
we
I
gotta
respect
do,
that answer, brother. My bad.
yeah, we gotta do something, right? We gotta do something. We gotta build the infrastructure, man. We got to build our infrastructure. And it starts with the education.
So, um,
Oh, before you,
let's take
hey,
it.
who's that? Glock,
My
brother
bad.
Glock.
Yeah.
Glock, before you go on that next one, man, let's expound upon let's go a little deeper on the if you want, or if you do you have
Oh
do you have a
no.
line that you're gonna
Oh
go in
no. Oh
regards to the
no. You already know, Tannen. Take off with it. I want the people to hear
oh,
the
okay, I'll just say
information.
no, I just want to go in parallel with it, man, because since
Yes,
we're on
sir.
that subject, well, we don't have to circle back around. Now, I just told y'all the art is arbitrary. Your value is arbitrary. What does that sound like? When I said that I just created an arbitrary value for my stock to create a pre-market before I start offering it to the public to sell, to hold. What is that? What is that? What comes to mind? Crypto.
Oh, Tannen, wake that up. Wake that up for thinking out loud. We need to have this conversation. Let's expound on the crypto and the market that they are establishing with it. Please inform the people.
And this is why it's important to understand know what money is and what it's not. Understanding business, commerce, and understanding what is taking place into you. Y'all, crypto is everybody thinks crypto is new. It's a new type of process. It's a new type of a way. It's the same thing as stock. So let's compare. Let's do a cross comparison analysis, right? Banks and checking accounts, crypto and wallets. Wallets is a instrument in which the numerical value can be stored. It can be stored into a wallet. Your check or your promissory note. that has a numerical value can be stored within a what? A checking account. You're just transferring the value in which the money is being held. That's what makes it movable. It's movable via electronically bookkeeping entries. It's the same thing. Where did you know you can deposit? See, no one in here don't know that you can deposit stock. Where does stock get deposited at? Ooh, nobody knows that, but you're gonna find out today. The process to get the stock to the brokerage account. The stock is then deposited into a brokerage account. So you got three places in which the numerical value can be stored via a bookkeeping entry, a brokerage account, a non-interest bearing checking account, and a crypto wallet. How did they create the crypto? I just explained how they created stock the exact same way. So how are you getting hyped over crypto, and how are you going around saying that you know everything about crypto, but you know nothing about the stock creation process? What's the difference? One is regulated, decentralized. One is regulated. So let's talk about that. You create a market for the stock. Well, let's go back to that. You got to create the stock like we just did. You create the stock, right? You create the stock at the Secretary of State. You create the crypto on the blockchain. You create an arbitrary. You authorize how many shares that you're going to authorize and then issue. Crypto, you authorize how many coins that you're going to do as well. You're going to place an arbitrary value on the stock. Then you're going to place an arbitrary value on the crypto. You see? Then on the stock side, you're going to raise capital in the form of you're going to sell your stock to establish a pre-market value, which is the wholesale side. The crypto, you're going to sell that on the blockchain via the mining of it, so people can get the coin via that cost, right? Now, what system is the crypto operating on for it to do that? The blockchain. So now let's talk about the system in which the stock is created and prepped. See, the blockchain, the crypto is prepped on the blockchain. The stock is prepped on what they call the DTC. It needs to be prepped to be placed on that system. The DTC system and the blockchain system. One is for stock, one is for crypto. You can't tell me you know anything about crypto and you don't understand the stock component. It's parallel to it. Before you can get on to the DTC, you have to register your stock after you create your pre-market value of that. So you might have created your crypto at 0.000001. You might have created your stock arbitrarily, just like the crypto, at 0.001, right? In the pre-market, you might have sold it for a penny on the stock side. Now I'm giving you live and real numbers as it relates to our organization. We went from 0.001, and then I wanted to raise capital and give equity to my people directly. And then I issued it, the pre-market value, at a penny, arbitrarily, of course. Arbitrarily par value, and I did an arbitrary uh value, wholesale value, arbitrarily. Because I can do that. You can do that. What solidifies the penny per share when I did that. This was 3 years ago. What solidifies the penny? As soon as somebody buys it at a penny, it establishes the value per share for each share. Let's go over to crypto. As soon as someone buys that crypto higher than the par value, which that crypto, then that crypto becomes that same value. You see? Now, let's get this stock. Let's get this stock on the system so it's equivalent to the blockchain before it's because the crypto can't do anything until it's mined, right? Until it's mined, but it has to have a system, the blockchain, for it to be mined on, right? So the stock can't do what it needs to do until it's prepped to get onto the DTC system so it can move via bookkeeping entries. So you got to register the stock. To register the stock, you got to get a CUSIP number, which is an identifier. It tracks the movement of your negotiable instrument, which is the stock. It's encoded. Who owns the CUSIP Bureau? The American Banking Association. If you're as old as me, right, you remember on your check, they used to call them ABA numbers before they became routing numbers. ABA meant American Banking Association. Checks are encoded. CUSIP numbers are encoded. They're encoded with the type of instrument, whether it's debt or equity. It's encoded with the company's name, numerical value, and then it has a preceding check number with an algorithm that calculates the first 8 and gives it a check number. That instrument, when you get that CUSIP number, now makes it a commercial banking document, a commercial banking negotiable instrument, just like a Federal Reserve note. Now it's eligible to be used in the DTC system. But before it can be used on the DT system, it needs to be deposited into a financial institution that deposits securities, not a bank. The name of this company, the name of this financial institution, public record, it's called Seed and Company. That's CEDE space company, Seed and Co. That is a financial institution that deposits securities. So the value of that stock is then transferred into the Seed and Company account, trust account. Seed and Company then becomes the trustee over that deposit. Then that deposit is then transferred into street name, and now it's eligible to be utilized on the DTC, just like the crypto is used on the blockchain. So now in street name is now it's eligible to be deposited into a brokerage account via bookkeeping entries. You see what I mean? Now we're ready to go public. Crypto is public on the it's public now. It's public now. So people, oh, I'm buying crypto, I'm buying crypto, I'm buying crypto, I'm buying crypto. Oh, boo, 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 I'm getting it for this, I'm getting it for this. And steady, and the value is determined by similar to a Ponzi like scheme, right? Not calling it a Ponzi scheme, I'm saying similar like, right? Because that value is only going to raise because if someone on the retail side is willing to purchase it at that higher amount because it has no intrinsic value. There is no asset behind it. It's based on what someone is willing to pay. This is what the story has been from the beginning, what we just said. A Federal Reserve note is worth nothing until someone is willing to accept it. There's no asset behind it. Now let's move over back over to the stock. The stock is a physical asset because it's liquid. It's liquidable now. Now, well, you say, well, stock don't have no asset. Of course it does. It's backed by the intellectual property of the person who initially started the company and the purpose and the identity on which it's going to be utilized for. So in our case, we have a division where we're utilizing to purchase real estate, but we don't purchase the real estate first. Why? Because then I have to sign these contracts, these loan documents, and give them access to my commercial paper, and then the liability is then via a lien is attached to the corporate assets, right? Which now is going to cause a valuation and fluctuation in stock price if I ever went public, which we are doing. So we don't do it that way. We prep the instrument to get it to the exchange, which that's the next step we're going to. So now the document is prepped, and now we're getting ready. Now we want to issue it to a public market. Public markets, what are they? Blockchain is the public market. It's the supermarket. It's the market. Now, what is our markets? The OTC, which is the over the counter, the NASDAQ, and the New York Stock Exchange. Those are all public markets. Oh, we got to do an application so we can list our stuff on those exchanges. Oh, but first, let's get a market maker. We got to get a market maker. Market maker, fancy name for broker. He's going to establish the retail market of your stock based on the pre-market value that you established when you stair-stepped your way up to this point. So you created your stock at a penny. Oh, what is the company doing? Oh, it's going to buy real estate. Oh, it's doing this. Oh, it's got division. It's doing all of this. They're looking at the offering memorandum, understanding what the business is and what's going to take place. Oh, they're about to do this. Oh, okay. Yeah, let's value it at $10 a share. Boop. Open up the next morning. Bell rings. The market maker has already reached out to his other brokers that people have accounts like with IRAs, uh, uh, 401ks, all of this and stuff like that, and we given them blocks of our shares to sell at a discount to they folks before called pre IPO stock. I know you heard that term. We do that. That established the market. Next morning, we come out at $10 a share. The share that you had at a penny now becomes $9.99 more in value. That's the appreciation of your stock on that trading. Crypto can't do that. It's not backed by no asset. Now, what do we do with all that capital that comes in? Now we go buy the real estate. Now we're buying the real estate without having to get a loan from the bank. Don't have to. Now we can go buy the real estate free and clear. Now we're controlling the value and the market of our price on the public market. Now, just say for sakes, right? We need to control. Now look at this opportunity. We got the opportunity now to control the debt and the credit now because we control the asset completely. So what do? This is why we create these other entities. We create an entity to be a bank or a finance company. We create a bank to be a servicer or a management company. We create these entities. So your main corporation has the stock. You transfer that to a trust. You let the trust leverage the stock. That means you can borrow against your asset, not sell it. Because we just said we always saying we getting out of that shit where you're selling your asset. Why would you sell the cow that produces the milk? Now you leverage that stock. And now when you issue a promissory note to the bank, the stock is the collateral now. and not the real estate that you're about to purchase. So now that cash comes in, you utilize the cash and you loan it to your finance company corporation that you created so it can loan to the LLC that applied had an application that applied to your corporation mortgage company that you created so it can fulfill the contract to purchase a cash flowing asset in which that LLC is going to own. Now your mortgage company becomes the creditor, your LLC becomes the debtor, and now you have new cash flow. You just converted the cash that you leverage your stock with, you converted in the way in which it's going to re-enter back into your system in the form of a loan instead of you selling the asset and it come in the form as a profit. It's now income from cash flow from a loan. Now that loan is then recycled, comes through your ecosystem, and now it's piggybacking, coming back and paying off the initial loan that you did, and that leverage goes up, and then boom, you do it again, buy another property. You're ping-ponging back and forth the same capital. You're using and spending the same cash through the same entities without creating a taxable event. And you are controlling the debt and the creditor via the entities that you control as a fiduciary officer.
Man, you didn't took us down through that, Tanen. I don't even know what to say to that. Matter of
Break
fact,
it up. Just break
Mons,
it up. Break it up piece to piece. Piece at a time.
I'm looking at it from the creation of the stock and the value in the stock. As I heard you state that once you create the stock and you determine your own value, the market will reset it based upon the want and need by those that are being involved in it, right?
Well, exactly.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah. Before you hit the market, right? So that's the reason why you have to really do your budget and you have to analyze what you're doing. You have to use real world type. So in my case, when I did the valuation, I'm looking at real world real estate. Even real estate that I've purchased in the past. You see what I'm saying? I'm looking at real world cash flowing apartment complexes, right? And those actual numbers, right? And to establish, okay, this is probably a good arbitrary value to have to make it easier for my the community that I'm trying to get involved with it for them to be able to get in. You see what I'm saying? At pennies on the dollar. You see what I mean? To where they can accumulate more stock. And let me go to this point right quick, Glock. You got right. So when people get hyped about crypto, right? Oh, crypto done hit $100,000 per share, right? Just say, right? And they don't have no crypto. Why are you getting excited about the crypto hitting 100,000 and you don't have no crypto? Or you have a fraction of the crypto? You don't benefit from that, right? Because that is the current market of that crypto. So that means to get one coin, you literally have to pay $100,000 to get that. So you didn't get in at the pre-market value. So now you're paying the retail market value. You see? So you decide where you want to start in the commerce. Do you want to start on the retail side or do you want to start on the wholesale side where you can accumulate more stock at pennies on the dollar versus trying to accumulate the stock at its retail cost? This is that wealth gap. This is that wealth gap based on when you enter into the system. Make sense?
yes, sir. Definitely makes sense. And that's what caught me off guard just thinking about the numbers, even with Bitcoin right now being over $100,000 a share. We think about it for those that were a part of that collective that started Bitcoin when it was at 0.001 cents a share.
Yes.
They're eating, I can't even say hand over fish. You got to say
There you go.
population over population. If you, let's say if someone was sitting at that table and they purchased 10,000 shares of Bitcoin, um, while it was only 0.001 cents. I'm just sitting here thinking about the math all the way to the point to where I'm like, I can't even quantify that number in the top of my head while thinking about it. To be
Yeah.
able to have a share at 0.001, and now that same share is at 100,000 a piece,
Mm-hmm.
man, the wealth gap is I can't even find the words for it. I'm just be honest with you. I can't find the words for it.